I have spent 84 years walking this earth, and if there is one thing I've learned, it's that the weight of the world isn't nearly as heavy as the weight of the wrong people. You don't notice it at first. You think you're being kind. You think you're being loyal. You think that by holding on to everyone who enters your life, you are building a porch wide enough for the whole world to sit on. But honey, some people don't come to sit and rest. They come to lean until your pillars crack. I look at my hands now, these spotted, wrinkled hands that have buried parents, raised children, and tilled soil, and I realize how much energy I wasted trying to steady people who were committed to falling. The silence in this house isn't lonely anymore. It's clean. It took me 7 decades to realize that peace has a very specific sound, and you can't hear it when you're surrounded by the roar of other people's chaos. We are told from the time we are little girls that we must be the glue. We must hold the family together, hold the friendships together, keep the peace at the Thanksgiving table even when the person next to us is pouring salt into our open wounds. But I am telling you, before the sun sets on your own life, you have to learn the art of the exit. You have to learn how to leave the table when respect is no longer being served, and more importantly, when your soul is being starved by the very people who claim to love you. There are 4 kinds of souls that will drain the marrow right out of your bones if you let them. They aren't always bad people in the way the world defines it. They don't all wear masks or carry daggers. Sometimes they are the ones who cry the loudest. Sometimes they are the ones who smile the brightest while they're reaching into your pockets for your last bit of hope. I call them the architects of ash because no matter how much would you give them to build a fire, they always find a way to burn the whole house down just to feel the warmth for a second. The first ones you have to leave behind are the eternal victims. Oh, I knew many of them. I used to be the one they called at 3 in the morning. I would sit in the dark, the phone pressed to my ear, listening to the same tragedy for the 100th time. It's always the weather or the boss or the ex-husband or the government or just plain bad luck. To them, life is something that happens to them, never something they have a hand in shaping. I spent 20 years trying to give a woman I called my best friend a ladder, only to realize she liked the view from the bottom of the pit because that's where all the attention was. If you spend your life trying to rescue someone who is in love with their own drowning, you will eventually go under with them. You think your love is a life jacket, but to an eternal victim your love is just an audience. They don't want a solution. They want a witness to their misery. And honey, your life is too short to be a professional mourner for someone who won't even try to live. I remember the day I finally stopped picking up the phone. My heart hammered against my ribs like a trapped bird. I felt guilty. I felt like a traitor. But after 3 days of silence, I realized the sky hadn't fallen. The only thing that had changed was that I finally had enough breath in my own lungs to go for a walk in the garden. Then there are the shadow stealers. These are the ones who can't stand to see a light that they didn't light themselves. Have you ever had a moment of pure, unadulterated joy? Maybe you got a promotion, or you finally painted that spare room, or you just felt beautiful for the first time in a long time. And you told someone only to have them immediately bring up a tragedy or a reason why your joy is temporary. They do it so subtly you almost miss it. They'll say, "Oh, I'm so happy for you, but be careful, you know how these things usually turn out." Or they'll immediately pivot the conversation to their own achievements, effectively dimming your candle so theirs looks brighter. I lived with a shadow stealer for a time. Every time I bloomed, he found a way to prune me back under the guise of keeping me grounded. He didn't want me grounded, he wanted me buried. You cannot grow in the shade of someone who is afraid of your sun. If you have to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's life, you are in the wrong life. It took me until my 50s to realize that true friends are the ones who want to see you shine so bright they have to put on sunglasses. Everyone else is just waiting for your eclipse. The third type is the most dangerous because they often look like family. I call them the debt collectors of the past. These are the people who refuse to let you evolve. They remember the person you were 20 years ago, the mistakes you made when you were young and foolish, and they use those memories like a leash to keep you from walking too far into your new self. Every time you try to change, every time you try to heal, they bring up the old you. They say things like, "Remember when you used to?" Or, "You always were the one who." They are terrified of your growth because it highlights their own stagnation. They want the version of you that they could control, the version that was broken enough to need them. I had a sister-in-law who held on to a mistake I made in 1974 like it was a legal document she could serve me with every time I felt confident. It's a heavy thing, carrying the ghost of who you used to be just because someone else refuses to see who you've become. You have to leave those ghosts behind. You have to realize that you don't owe anyone a version of yourself that no longer exists. If they can't celebrate the woman you are today, they don't deserve a seat at your table. And finally, the fourth ones, the quiet eroders. These are the ones who don't shout, they whisper. They are the ones who slowly, day by day, chip away at your self-worth with helpful criticism and concerned observations. They make you doubt your instincts. They make you feel like you're a little too loud, a little too much, a little too sensitive. It's like water hitting a stone. It doesn't look like much is happening, but over time the stone is worn down to nothing. I spent years with a man who never raised his voice, but by the time I left him, I didn't know how to choose a loaf of bread without wondering if he'd approve of the crust. That kind of influence is a poison that tastes like honey. You think they're looking out for you, but they're actually sculpting you into something that's easier for them to manage. I look at the young women today rushing around with their phones, trying to please everyone, trying to be liked by 1,000 strangers and a dozen toxic friends, and I want to grab them by the shoulders and say, "Stop. Stop pouring your wine into cracked glasses. It's not your job to fix the cracks. It's your job to keep your wine." When you reach 84, you realize that your time is a finite currency. You only have so many breaths left. You only have so many sunsets. Why on earth would you spend even one of them listening to a victim who won't change, a shadow stealer who wants your light, a debt collector who won't forgive, or an eroder who wants your soul? Leaving people behind isn't an act of cruelty. It's an act of survival. It's choosing the garden over the weeds. It's realizing that you are the architect of your own peace. I remember sitting on this very porch 10 years ago, after I'd finally cut ties with the last of the people who made me feel small. The silence was terrifying at first. I felt like I was missing something. But then the birds started sounding louder. The smell of the jasmine became clearer. I started to hear my own voice again. Not the voice that was answering someone else's crisis, but the voice that wondered what I wanted for dinner, or what I wanted to read, or how I felt about the world. I had spent so long being a mirror for other people that I'd forgotten I was a person myself. You don't need a crowd to be whole. You need a few good souls who see you, who really see you, and who bring peace to your door instead of problems. And if you can't find those people right now, then be your own company. It is better to be alone and a little lonely than to be surrounded by people who make you feel like you're disappearing. I know it's hard. I know the guilt feels like a heavy coat in a rainstorm. But honey, that coat is soaked and it's dragging you down into the mud. Take it off. Leave it on the side of the road. Walk forward into the sun. You'll be cold for a minute, but then you'll be light. And there is nothing in this world quite like the feeling of being light. My mother used to say that some people are like seasons. They come, they do their work, and then they have to go so the next season can start. Don't try to keep winter around when it's time for spring. Let the leaves fall. Let the wind carry away what isn't yours to keep. You'll find that when you stop holding on to the wrong ones, your hands are finally empty and ready to catch the right ones. Or even better, to just hold your own peace. The 4 types of people you must leave behind. They are the anchors that keep your ship from ever seeing the ocean. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather face a storm on the open sea than rot at the dock because I was too afraid to untie the ropes. It's never too late to start over. It's never too late to say no more. It's never too late to protect the little bit of time you have left. I'm 84 years old and I feel like I'm finally, truly living because I finally stopped living for people who only wanted to use me as a backdrop for their own drama. I'm going to sit here now and watch the light fade over the trees. I'm going to listen to the crickets. And I'm going to be grateful for every person I had the courage to leave behind, because they are the reason I can finally hear my own heart beating. It's a steady sound. It's a quiet sound. And it's the only sound that matters in the end. Don't wait until you're my age to realize that your life belongs to you. Not to your friends, not to your family, not to your past. To you. Protect it like the treasure it is. Cut the ties. Walk away from the table. Find your peace. Because honey, the only person you absolutely have to live with from the first breath to the last is yourself. Make sure she's someone you're proud to sit with in the quiet. The world will tell you that you're being selfish. The world will tell you that you're being cold. But the world doesn't have to live your life. You do. And when you're standing at the edge of forever looking back, you won't wish you'd been more patient with the people who hurt you. You'll wish you'd spent more time with the beauty that was waiting for you all along, just past the exit. I think about the years I spent apologizing for things that weren't my fault. I think about the energy I spent trying to explain my boundaries to people who were committed to misunderstanding them. What a waste. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you need to be healthy. You don't owe anyone a debate about your own worth. If someone treats you like an option, remove yourself from the equation. It's that simple and it's that difficult. The eternal victim will always find a new hero. The shadow stealer will always find a new light. The debt collector will always find a new target. And the eroder will always find a new stone. They will be fine without you. But you will not be fine if you stay. You will become a ghost in your own house, a shadow in your own life. I remember my grandmother, she was 99 when she passed. I asked her once if she had any regrets. She looked at me with those eyes that had seen the turn of a century and she said, "Hattie, I only regret the yes," I said when my soul was screaming no. I didn't understand her then. I thought she was being cynical. But now I see it. I see the yes I gave to toxic friends because I didn't want to be mean. I see the yes I gave to family members who drained my bank account and my spirit because blood is thicker than water. Well, honey, water can be pure and blood can be poisoned. Don't let the name of a relationship justify the destruction of your peace. I have learned to be very careful with who I let into this house. Not just this physical house with the porch and the creaky floors, but the house of my spirit. I keep the windows clean so I can see who's coming. And if I see a storm approaching in the form of a person who brings nothing but lightning and thunder, I lock the door. I don't do it out of anger. I do it out of love. Love for the woman who has to live inside. You have to be your own gatekeeper. You have to be the one who says, this far and no further. Because if you don't set the limits, the world will take everything you have and then ask why you don't have more to give. I look at the trees out there. They don't apologize for shedding their leaves. They don't feel guilty for going dormant in the winter to save their strength. They know that in order to bloom in the spring, they have to let go of what's dead. We are part of nature too, yet we try to carry our dead leaves with us year after year, wondering why we're so tired, wondering why we can't grow. Let them fall. Let the people who are not meant for your journey go their own way. It's okay to wish them well from a distance. You can pray for them, you can hope they find their way, but you don't have to carry them on your back while they're kicking your ribs. There is a freedom that comes with age, but you don't have to wait for the wrinkles to claim it. You can claim it today. You can decide right now that you are done being a dumping ground for other people's garbage. You can decide that your joy is worth protecting. The silence is settling in now. The sun is almost gone. It's my favorite time of day. It's when the world stops pretending and just is. I feel a deep, clean energy in my chest. The kind Hattie Mae talked about when the stomach is empty, but this is different. This is the energy of a heart that is finally unburdened. I've had a lot of coffee in my time and I've had a lot of conversations. But the best conversation I ever had was the one I had with myself when I decided I was enough. Just as I am. Without the need to fix anyone else. Without the need to be the bridge for people who refuse to walk. If you're listening to this and you feel that familiar ache in your chest, the one that tells you you're being used or dimmed or held back, listen to it. That's not anxiety. That's your soul trying to wake you up. It's telling you that it's time to leave the table. Don't be afraid of the quiet that follows. In that quiet you will find yourself. And honey, let me tell you, you are someone worth knowing. You are someone worth protecting. You are a miracle that has been hidden under the demands of others for far too long. It's time to come out into the light. It's time to leave the 4 types of people behind and walk into the life that's been waiting for you. It's a good life. It's a simple life. And it's yours. I'm going to go inside now. I have a book to read and a cat that's probably wondering where her dinner is. My life is small now by the world's standards. I don't go to many parties. I don't have 100 friends. But the people I do have, they are like gold. And the peace I have, it's like diamonds. I wouldn't trade 1 hour of this quiet clarity for a lifetime of the busy chaos I used to call a life. Be brave. Be kind to yourself. And for heaven's sake, stop trying to water plastic flowers. They aren't going to grow and you're only going to run out of water. Take care of your engine, but take care of your heart too. It's the only one you get. And it deserves to beat in a rhythm of its own making, not in the frantic tempo of someone else's dysfunction. Good night, honey. I hope you find the courage to walk away from what's breaking you. I hope you find the peace that's waiting on the other side. It's beautiful over here. I promise.